Hello and welcome to another update video about GALA. So GALA did react very nicely yesterday to our support area, was one of the best performing coins yesterday together with Mana. And we were exploring yesterday if the low is already in. It certainly could be in, but at this stage we also still need to be ready for further downside. As highlighted yesterday, we only had 3 waves up so far. So what needs to happen after you create a possible low, you can look at a possible trend reversal, but to get confirmation, you need first 5 waves up, 3 waves down, then you have already 2 levels of confirmation, and then a breakout above the previous high. So this is what we need to be watching out for. At the current, in the current situation, it starts to look a bit difficult, but we can zoom in and take a look. GALA rallied off the December lows in what I believe is a wave 1. We then came down in an ABC correction, hit the 61.8 Fibonacci retracement of our support area, our trend reversal area, and from here it could turn around now, but it needs to show what I highlighted. So we need to see 5 waves up. That's the first indication that the trend is shifting. So we need something like this. We need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. At present, we only have 3 up, okay? So when you have 3 up, it could also easily be an A, B, C structure, which would then be followed by 5 waves down again. ABC means it's only corrective, which means it would not change the trend. It would just correct the downtrend, which is already running, okay? And then be followed by most likely another low. So what we need to see is 5 waves up. As these 5 waves are complete, we need to be watching for 3 waves down for the price to make a higher low, because this would indicate that the trend has shifted in 5 waves and that it's being corrected in only 3, which would be followed by a 5-wave move up most likely. And to get confirmation, the third level of confirmation that a low has been struck here, we need to see the breakout above this level, okay? Which doesn't mean you need to wait until you get the breakout to enter. I tend to enter either here or here. Yeah, so this is sort of what can be traded as a pullback trader, or here to the upside as a breakout trader. That depends on everybody, so there is no right or wrong here. I tend to prefer pullbacks, but pullbacks have a higher risk of the setup not working out eventually, but they have the big advantage that you keep losses small if the trade fails, and you can adjust your stop loss very quickly if the price reacts to your support level, and then you take the risk out completely. So what we need to be watching now is so we certainly have a corrective pattern complete to the downside. So this ABC structure, ABC, doesn't need to go any lower. It could do, yeah, but it doesn't need to. And when it doesn't need to go any lower anymore, we need to be watching for possible reversal to the upside. Now, the way this looks like is that we had a possible wave 1 to the upside, a possible wave 2 to the downside. Yesterday we said, okay, maybe this third wave complete as well. And now we need to be watching for a wave 4. As soon as the wave 4 breaks into the wave 1 price region, this scenario is completely invalidated. So that would be a break below 3.7 cents. Then it will get unreliable. It could still move higher, but then you have only 3 waves up. It could still be a diagonal or something, but you always try to find an impulse. Okay, so it needs to hold 3.7 cents now to not invalidate the unfolding impulse to the upside. However, we also need to be watching for Fibonacci support, because what this price should not do anymore, it should not drop below the 50% retracement, which is the 3.78 cent level, because below the 50% retracement, such a wave 4 is most likely not a wave 4 anymore and something different. So it needs to turn around now, or it will probably fail and make a new low, yeah? Or at least retest here the 3.5 cent level, but then probably also come down to round about 3.3 cents. Bear in mind, this is the micro level we're looking at now. Things can change here very quickly. Just try to give you an orientation, but we come down very impulsively. This doesn't look to me like a wave 4 anymore. It could theoretically be one. I'm going to take the count of the chart now because, you know, it can still work out, but we made a high, we come down impulsively. This is already hitting here the 50% retracement. I mean, could you make the case this is an entire 5-wave move up? Maybe, but it's not reliable. So again, you know, in this green support area, they can turn around. We can make an attempt at micro counting. In my opinion, we only had 3 waves up. Yeah, at least no clear 5 waves. And you can actually see it nicely when you zoom out a little bit that this looks very much like a 3-wave structure. And if it turns around now, it's fine. We can get a 5th wave. If not, it may break down or may lead to a much deeper retracement. Either way, wouldn't get too emotional about that, or try to waste too much brain power on trying to understand, has it bottomed or not. Easiest way to trade this is either when you have a corrective pattern complete to set a stop loss below the low and just see what happens, because if it makes a new low, your assumption was wrong. Yeah, or just scale into these larger support areas. We at the moment have the great situation that we are in one of these highly relevant large support areas, which can, if the trade works out, lead to a price of 10 cents plus. Okay, so it's a phenomenal reward to risk ratio. However, there's no guarantee it works out, of course, right? Because this is basically after, well, maybe still, well, in the bear market. We are still officially in the bear market, aren't we? But it's in the bear market, the first proper impulse to the upside, the first proper wave 2 to the downside. And again, you need 3 levels of confirmation, really. You need your 5 up, so we have the first confirmation that the overall trend for GALA could have shifted. Yeah, it's the first confirmation. That's why we are looking at a long setup. This is no guarantee it works, because the second condition is that this support is holding to get a confirmation that the overall trend has shifted for GALA. So we need this to work out, and we actually need to see a break above this level at 6.2 cents. Now, if you wait for all 3 levels of confirmation, and confirmation is never certainty, yeah, it's only probabilities, but if you wait for all 3 levels of confirmation, you will not get the good price anymore. And that's the balance that every trader needs to decide, or the decision every trader or investor needs to make for themselves. Just consider down here, if it fails, you have a very, very good reward to risk ratio still, and you're very low risk, because you're basically the invalidation point, or the point where this upside setup gets very unlikely, is very close to your buy-in price. Especially if you manage it in a way that I typically prefer, but that's entirely up to you as well, where I scale in several batches, but try to keep the biggest position size as close as possible to the lowest support, just to keep the risk small. Yeah, I'm not always that disciplined, but that's ideally how I do it, how I tend to do it, how it would be the right way all the time. Because then, risk is small up here, and you keep risk level, basically. Yeah. Either way, there's no guarantee it works out, but it's a high probability, in my opinion, that at least we see a move up from here. I mean, even if it's only to 6.5 cents, yeah, and even if it's only a larger ABC structure, which is possible as well, A wave, B wave, C wave, yeah, doesn't really make a difference if you're trading a 1, 2, 3 or an ABC. It's just what happens afterwards is going to be important, because if you trade a 1, 2, 3, so if we're already back in the bull run, we should get a 4 and a 5 as well. But if it's only an ABC, afterwards we break down. That's why tactically it might make sense to take profits or partial profits at the end of that next rally, if it happens, and holds 2.57 cents. Always important to add that. Okay, and that's my update about GALA. I hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.